welcome back to this week's Day Fit Sunday, and I am making probably one of the most easiest recipes ever. And I know when we get into it, it's gonna look like mush, but I promise you it is so amazing. And if you guys love cauliflower, this is like the ultimate dish for you guys. And it's simple because it's a casserole. You just pop it in the oven. I'm pre-making it now for dinner. It's only lunchtime, and it's easy because you can make it ahead. You can make it right before dinner. I mean, it's awesome. So this is all you need. So you're gonna need a half cup of white rice. You're gonna need 2 smaller heads of cauliflower or 1 large head of cauliflower. They only had like medium ones, so I'm using 2 smaller. So 2 of these, what are these? The 16 ounces of sour cream, but you're only going to use half of one. So, but you obviously need to buy 2. And you're going to need about 1.25 pounds of ground turkey. I do use the extra lean, which is the 99% fat free. You're going to need a little bit of yellow mustard. Vegeta, I love this. This is my favorite. It does have some salt in here, so I'm not going to be adding any salt. I know you can get this in like the international section, or like any kind of like international market will have it. But if you don't have this, you can go ahead and use any kind of like poultry seasoning. A little bit of garlic powder and some fresh cracked black pepper. And I always forget the size of this dish. I will link it below because I just can't think of it. I can't think of its name, and I can't think of the size off the top of my head. But you're gonna need 1 of these, and that's it. So let's get started. And hold up, we're gonna need like 2 cups of water. I totally forgot to mention that. Hi, Bobo. And he's like scratching on my leg. Yeah, can't forget the water. Now let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is take like a little silicone pad. I can't remember what these are called. I always forget, like a pot holder or something. Well, I'm gonna use that so my little dish doesn't go everywhere. And you're going to need a cheese grater. I'm telling you, this is so easy. So what I will do is break off pieces of cauliflower and just grate it into the dish, just straight. Just be careful, don't take your nails off with it, and watch your fingers, because seriously, sometimes I do cut myself on this thing. So you're just gonna do this. It's a little tedious, but it is what it is. And that way all the cauliflower gets cooked through evenly, and it's not all chunky, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna do this whole thing, which is probably gonna take me like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be back. By the way, I just realized it's actually easier if you just hold the whole head of cauliflower and just grate it. Like, way easier than pieces. I just discovered that after making this so many times. So yeah, just keep on grating, keep on grating. My goodness, my arm is getting tired. Ay. Okay, so now that I have had one heck of a workout, if you have like, you know, bigger little pieces in here, just go ahead and break them. Obviously you can't shred every little bit, but as you can see, it's gonna cover like almost half of your dish, and that's why I love this little casserole, because the majority is a veggie, and you're gonna have a little bit of protein and a little bit of carbs, or starchy carbs I should say, and it's filling, and it's just pretty low in calories. I know we're using sour cream, but honestly, sour cream is just one of those things I don't deprive myself of, as you guys know. So now let me just wash my hand. And because I did forget to mention that we are going to need a little bit of olive oil, you're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of that. I always forget something. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then you're just going to add in your rice. And now we're going to add the meat. So where's my knife? just dump that in. We don't want that. So now I'm going to add in my seasoning. So I'm going to take my Vegeta. If you don't have that, like I said, any poultry seasoning would do. But you want to put like a good amount of that in here. So like that. And I believe this has like onion powder and garlic powder and all that stuff. So because that does have added stuff like that, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder and a ton of black pepper. I love black pepper, but this really needs a lot of black pepper. So I'm really going to do some serious black pepper adding right now. Okay, so you might think that's too much, but it needs it. I'm not kidding. I've made it where I only put a little bit and it was definitely not enough. Okay, I should have not worn a sweatshirt today. Okay, so in a mixing bowl, you're going to add half of the sour cream. I mean, you're more than welcome to use low fat or whatever, but I honestly don't worry too much about that. And then you're gonna need the water because you have to let the cauliflower cook and the rice cook. So I'm gonna add in a little bit at a time, like a quarter cup each time, until I feel like the sour cream is not runny, but it's got enough water. I'll show you when I get there. And then you're going to do this twice because we're going to add some in with the mixture. And then you're going to also add some as like a top layer. So make sure you don't wash your bowl out because you're going to need it again. Okay, so I added about a half cup of water, maybe a little bit more than a half cup. And once you feel like it's still a little bit, runny, well, you have to do a half cup anyways because you have to have like the same amount that you used for your rice or how much rice you're using. So definitely a half cup, but I think I added, yeah, I did add a little bit more than half cup. So once your sour cream is a little bit runny, you're just gonna go and dump it on top. So just set this to the side because you're going to need it again. And you can either use your hands or you can use a spoon. But I feel like if you use your hands, it just combines everything a little bit better. But for the sake of not scaring you guys, I'm going to use my spoon. And you're just going to mix it together and make it look like mush. And I wasn't kidding. So you'll see what it looks like when I get there. And don't worry, I have shorts on, so I'm not pantsless over here. But once you mix everything up, it's going to pretty much look like this. So then I will just smooth the top. And I told you, it really does look like mush. But this way it cooks evenly and faster. And I mean, I've had family. I'm not quite sure if this is a Hungarian dish, but all my Hungarian relatives make this. So I'm not quite sure. I know like my dad's cousin makes it a different way. She'll kind of like cook the turkey, she'll cook the rice a little, and then she'll cook the cauliflower or steam it. And my mom just does this. She just sticks everything in there and cooks it for a little longer. And it's just easier, less of a mess, I mean, honestly. But you just want to make sure that you still have about a quarter worth of room left, because when you put the sour cream on top, you don't want it bubbling out in the oven. So now I would go and preset the oven to 350, but because I'm making this for dinner, I'm going to put this in the fridge. And what was I going to say? There was something else. You guys know I'm a huge fan of sour cream. If you watched my, or if you're new to my channel, actually I will link my recipe for my not so stuffed cabbage casserole down below. And it's kind of the same concept with the sour cream on top. So now let's do our little top layer. So now I'm going to move this over again, and you're going to, I am so not prepared, guys. You're gonna take another spoon and you're going to scoop out whatever you got in the first one and half of what you got in your next little tub. And you guys, this dish is pretty low calorie. Like, I've added it up and it's about like 450 calories per serving, and this is gonna serve like 6 people easy. Trust me, like, you don't need a lot to get full off of this. So now once you added that, you're gonna add a little bit of mustard. There's just something about adding a little mustard, not too much. So like that much. If you put too much, then it really like overpowers it. So now I'm just gonna mix those together real quick before we add in the water. And we're definitely not gonna use the whole thing, but I wasn't sure, because you guys know I don't measure things out, how much you were gonna need. So you don't want it as runny as it was earlier. So I would say probably like a 1/4 cup would be plenty. So once you got this ready, this one's not as runny. It's a little watered down, but not too much, because you don't want it super thick and it'll be like frosting on top of this thing. But I'm just gonna dump this on top and just even it out. Okay, and then you just want to make sure that you cook this at 350 for 2 hours. So 120 minutes, and you'll just notice like it'll start to brown and the sour cream will start separating it. And I'm gonna put mine in the fridge, but I will show you guys what it's like when it's done. I will warn you, it does smell up your house. I love how it smells, but if you're outside and you come in, it might knock you straight to your butt, because it's like strong. It smells really good, but it's like, wow, like you could smell it like down the street, and I love it. It's a comfort food for me. So this is just something I've had ever since I was a baby, so I was happy to share this with you guys. But I'm gonna put mine in the fridge, but I'll see you guys as soon as I bake this. Okay, so I had to do a voiceover because Eric was so into watching TV that I felt bad and I didn't want him to turn it off. So I wanted to show you guys what it looked like when it was done. I baked this for 2 hours, and as you can see, the edges get all nice and brown, and Eric was already starving. So I had to like get his plate ready, and I figured, you know what? I'll just show you guys exactly how I make it for lunch, or pack it for lunch, I should say. So what I like to do is I take about 2 scoops worth, maybe a little bit more. And as you can see, it kind of looks like mush, but it's really good. I know it's kind of weird to say, but it is what it is. And I like to top it with sour cream. Well, actually my favorite part is like the browned edges. Like, ugh, I love that. But Eric likes to serve his with sour cream, some cheese, and tapatio. I will just take the sour cream and I'll add in about maybe like, I don't know, a teaspoon, like a little heaping teaspoon, but that's how I like to serve it, and it's always better the next day, I think, anyways. So now I got my lunch ready to go, and I hope you guys enjoy this week's Stay Fit Sunday. If you try it, let me know, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.